Hi, welcome to Psychic Tapestry. I'm Ken Kessler, and she's Jonna Kay. Hi, Jonna.
Hello.
We have, real quick, if you're trying to connect with us, psychictapestry.com is the website. At Psychic Tapestry, actually, that's where you can find us on almost all the social medias too. Jonna's website is Medium Jonna Kay, JonnaKay.com, and there'll be a link to that down in the show notes too. So that's how you reach us. There's also, if you're listening to this on your phone, there's a little thing that will show up that says send us a text message, and you can connect that way. But the neat thing about that is that there is no way for us to text you back. So keep that in mind. The only way to text you back really isn't really texting you back, is just mentioning it on the next episode. And if you're cool with that, that's fine. But I didn't want anybody to hear that and go, oh, I'm going to text them and they'll answer me right back, because unfortunately we can't. If you do contact Jonna through her website, or you contact me through social media or something, we will get back to you.
I can actually see your texts if you text me from my website.
I, I can I can see the texts. I just can't text back,
Right,
which
right.
I don't know why they did it that way, but I don't know enough about computer science to get in there and change the code so that I can. So sorry about that. But anyhow, I wanted to get Jonna back on because she's got some cool stuff coming up that I think you might be interested in. Starting with a group reading and chat that's coming up. The next one's coming up this Friday. We're recording this on May 28th, and I'm hoping that it will be out on all the streaming sites before that happens. If it doesn't, there's another group reading and chat that's coming up next month, so you'll be able to hop onto that too. Jonna, can you sort of explain what this is and how it works?
Well, it is a group reading online. I use Google Meets instead of Zoom. Same idea. It's all the same kind of platform. And almost everybody gets read because they're really small. They're not that big. Um, and what happens is I have these groups on my website. If you go to my website and you look at the group page, there's a couple free groups and then there's a couple paid groups. So the honeybees is a $5 a month group, a subscription group. So those honeybees get a lot of special honey from me. And this is one of them. This is They get this free once a month group reading where they can come in, sit down, have a drink, and get readings from me.
And
So,
this is all, as you said, this is all through Google Meets, so it's wherever you are in the
yeah,
world.
you don't have to be anywhere special. And the code is actually in the honeybees group. So, if you're a member of the honeybees, all you got to do is click on that and you'll be instantly a part of it.
Okay, so when you go to Jonna's website, again, mediumjonnakay.com, I'm looking, and is it groups list? Is that what I need to click on?
Yeah.
Okay. So I click that, and what happens is it takes you to another page, and you get to choose which group you want to join. There's also a private group that you have to request to join, the Busy Bees. But you can join all these other groups. And one of the cool things that I like about your groups is that, unlike on some social media sites, if you join one of these groups, you find out whatever is posted. You will know
There's
about it.
no algorithm.
Right.
Yes.
If you are in a group on, oh, let's say Facebook, if you're in one of those groups, it doesn't matter. You might see something that gets posted, you might not.
Right. Or you might only see the
Probably
featured
won't.
posts. I do
Yeah.
not do that. Everything that goes up is up. And that's kind of why I started doing my own groups on my website, because I just don't trust some of the media sites anymore. And it gives people a reason to go to my website and find out what's going on. So, it's kind of cool. And if you know, I like interactive stuff like that.
The honeybees is the top group, the first one that you will see on this list, and there's a little join button. You can click that, and it's only $5.
Five
Five
bucks a month.
$5 a month. It is a subscription. But if you're getting a reading every month,
Yeah.
wow, are you making out?
Or a chance to get a reading,
Yeah.
like if the group would get bigger. But then there's also the online healing circle that I'm starting with them. And I'm always trying to do new things with my honeybees. I'm always trying to come up with new ideas to give them some good stuff. So, yes.
So the group reading is through Google Meet, which is very similar to Zoom. I'm guessing there's like Brady Bunch boxes,
Mhm.
just like on Zoom,
Yep.
and everybody's in there. How do you how do you decide who gets a reading? Do you just sort of go around the room?
And we
Is it
just
a
go around
matter
the
of
room and people actually bring photos of their loved ones to these. And that is fun because I love reading a photo. And so they'll bring a photo of their deceased relative. And then I read the photo. So that is very cool.
yeah, that sounds great. And I'm guessing I was going to ask how long it lasts. I'm guessing it lasts as long as it needs to last.
About 2 hours usually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's coming up. If you don't catch this episode before Friday, May 30th, Jonna does this every month. So there's and you can see on the front page of her website all the events. So you can see the next one is coming up June 27th, and she's got all kinds of other stuff coming up too. So you but this comes up every month, and all you need to do is click the little RSVP thing once you're in the honeybees group.
Right. And then as long as you're in the group, you pay your $5, you join the group. There's all kinds of fun things inside the group, but there is the link to join the group reading. And it's not recorded. It does not go on social media. So what's said in the group stays in the group and then it's gone.
Wow, very nice.
Mhm. Yes.
Another new thing that you have coming up are online healing circles. The first one is coming up Monday, June the 2nd, and then you've got some more coming up
Weekly.
later.
Yeah, every week.
Look, yeah, I was going to say, it looks like every week.
Hmm.
Um, this is another thing that's for the honeybees.
It's for the honeybees. Yes. So you have to be a member of the honeybees. I know. Let's push that honeybee thing, huh? Buzz on over. Um, but the thing is it's just so cool because I've done healing circles like in actual physical groups, rooms with people. And this would be the same thing just on Google Meets again, where we choose a topic, we talk about the topic, we do affirmations, a guided meditation, those kind of things. And people get to kind of open up and say what they want to say. Again, it's not recorded. When we click it off, it's gone. So yeah, it's very cool.
It's very cool because for the same $5 that you paid for
Get
the month, you get the group
a little
reading,
therapy.
and then you get a healing circle every Monday.
Yeah.
That's a deal.
It's a bargain. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it is amazing. So, yeah, I'm very excited about those things. I think that they'll be really fun. And I'm just always coming up with more and more fun things. I do a lot of free classes for the honeybees. So, like a pendulum class or, different things like that.
Very cool. And one more thing on here I think is new is you're manifesting. Is it a group, a circle?
Yeah, just a manifesting circle. Bring some intention of what you want to manifest. We all talk about it. We talk about ways to manifest it. And then we get together the next month and do it again and see how things are changing. A lot of people think they're manifesting. I talk to so many people who are like, but I'm mad at this and I'm mad at that and I don't get what I want. And I'm like, you're not manifesting because your language is saying push it away.
Well, and I think so many people saw The Secret or
Yeah,
saw a
they
video
tape a
about it.
check on their ceiling and think that
Yeah.
money's going to come in.
Yeah, and let me just put a picture of this car that I want in front of the house that I want on my little vision board thing there. Now I don't have to worry about it, don't have to think about it. It's just going to magically show up.
So when I do a manifesting love group, I tell people to keep a journal a year in the future. And so today's date a year in the future and write every night before you go to bed about what it's like to be in this relationship. Because then you align yourself into being in a relationship. And when you're aligned into it, you pull it towards you.
And I don't know if this is the case with you. I'm guessing that it is in a manifestation circle. There is power in doing this as a group when
Huge.
when your intentions are for everybody and you're all sharing what you're trying to manifest and everybody is thinking about it. Oh, the power is through the roof.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. It's so much fun to do that cumulative energy. And even online, it's just energy. So everybody feels it.
Yeah.
So your chances of getting what you want in a group are so much higher than trying to manifest alone, especially if you have ADD. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. I it's just something I think people miss when you're talking about manifesting that you do this with somebody, with a group, and it just amplifies the power so much. It's just incredible. The energy is just amazing, and
Hmm.
it helps draw to you to everybody everything that they're trying to get, and you just feel so positive.
Yes. And positivity is the quickest way to manifest anything. You can't manifest things when you're not positive.
And these days it's not easy getting in that mindset.
Oh, 100%. So you absolutely kind of come in and you get that little headspace of you and everybody else. And it just puts you in the right alignment to bring everything to you that you want. And by putting a bunch of people in alignment together, it's amazing.
Because I always get questions about this kind of stuff, and I'm sure you do too. What kind of things should people be thinking about manifesting? And when I say things, I don't mean necessarily objects, just whatever it is.
I'm sorry, my dog's trying to play here. She thinks she's funny. So a lot of people, love is the biggie. How to get love in their life. So I work with a lot of people on manifesting love and, bringing that into their life. Other things are like when people want to buy a home and they'll say everything lined up. And that happened when we bought our home. Like it just lined up. We closed in 3 weeks. Like, how does that happen? So you never close in 3 weeks. So I feel like, when you're manifesting something, it, it spins out of control. It happens so fast sometimes.
It really does. My wife's very good at this, and she decided we were going to buy a house. And I had not made that decision, but I was like, okay, that's fine. And the perfect place, the perfect price, everything fell into place despite me. And it was it did not go smoothly for the 3 or 4 weeks it took to go through everything.
But
Um,
you have to do all that stupid paperwork and it's very
yeah,
frustrating.
it is very frustrating. And the group we were working with, some of them weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, and they were making some mistakes. And I was stressed out about it anyway.
It's the most stressful thing. It is so stressful. And I'm self employed. I mean, I have a job now that I do part time, but I didn't have that. And when you're self-employed and you have to like try to prove your income, it is the most ridiculous thing
It is.
because self-employed people know that they have a lot of expenses and write off as much as possible. And then mortgage companies say, "Oh, it looks like you don't make enough."
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really manifested this house. We absolutely did.
Yeah, we did. We did too, despite me. My wife is much stronger than I am. Her will, her spirit, her everything. So, which is good because I there were so many times where I got so frustrated with some of the things that our mortgage company did wrong that I was ready to walk away. I'm like, I'm done. This is and she was like, "No, calm down."
Yeah, we had this same experience, and I don't know who your mortgage company was. Our realtor said never use them again because
Yeah.
there's actually like recovery programs for that particular mortgage company. So yes, like that people get so frustrated, and she said they get right up to closing and can't close with that particular mortgage company. And it's quite famous, that mortgage company. Like there's commercials for it. Hmm.
But I don't want to drag us too far afield
Mm-mm.
from this, but
No.
it is just amazing and what you can manifest when you breathe, when you let the positive vibrations in, when you're in a group where you're all trying to do this for each other, whether it's love or a job or a house or a car. It's amazing power to harness. I know we're going to talk about the lottery at some point, but what about somebody who wants to come in and manifest a winning Powerball ticket?
I mean, I have several clients who have. Yeah, I mean, and one of them won the lottery twice. I've won $1,000 twice. I think that's
Okay.
kind of a cool deal. I mean, I'm on the
Yeah,
Wisconsin Lottery website, so I do definitely feel like that can happen. Maybe not the Powerball, but I feel like, you can go in there and pick off a little somewhere. You know, I feel like if it's in your path, it's in your path.
right,
So I feel that people who are manifestors know what's in their path and they just bring it closer like a magnet
right. So the manifesting circle and the healing circle and the group readings are all free for the honeybees
for a mere $5 a month.
for $5,
Mhm.
which
Yes,
is what is it, the Powerball or Mega Millions? One of them, I think the tickets are up to $5. So
I
really,
know. I saw that. I
so
saw
this
that.
is a great deal. And how often does the manifesting? I know the manifesting
We're
circle's
just
new.
starting
Is it
that. So I'm just
okay?
trying to see where, take a temperature on that and
Okay,
we'll see where that goes.
okay.
Yeah.
So the group readings are every month, and the healing circles every Monday, and then there's the manifesting circle that we'll see. But all of that is when you join up to be a honeybee for $5 a month, which is it's
So I'm
crazy.
just trying to manifest the numbers on that. So you see what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I I feel like if I had, 5,000 people at $5 a month, that would be amazing.
yeah.
Hmm. I
Although
mean, a
that group
thousand people at $5 a month. That's all we need. I have 1,000 members on my website. I have like 1,200 free members.
the group reading might go longer than 2 hours though.
Well, that would
That's
just be the same as if I had an audience.
yeah,
You read for two
yeah. That's
hours and
true.
then you come in
I
the
was just
next
being a
month.
smart aleck.
Yeah, well, um, you know, it
Yeah.
is what it is. But I've watched is it Thomas John and Tyler Henry do their
Hmm.
group readings online back during pandemic?
Yeah.
And only a few people get called. Like it's not because it's not like you can go on forever and ever. But it's fun, and for $5 a month, what the heck? I normally charge
Yeah.
$20 for those, for a ticket.
And I can tell you, as somebody who attended group readings the mostly in person before the pandemic, and back when I was still sort of a skeptic. There is amazing power there, even if you don't get a reading.
Oh, it's so amazing, especially if you're a
Yeah,
psychic, because you start picking up the same things.
yeah. It is. It's just amazing that somebody, whether it's somebody sitting next to you or somebody in the box next to you on Google Meets, realizes you're talking about them or their loved one. It's just it's incredible.
It's so
It
much
really
fun.
is.
During pandemic, we just had so many of them. That's when I really started doing a lot of the online group readings. And it was just so much fun to do and have people from all over the country in one spot.
Yeah, that is really cool. So all that is on the front page of Jonna's website. You can you can join the honeybees and then you can RSVP to everything.
And I have some news.
Oh yeah,
There will be another group coming up as soon as I finish my course that I'm taking.
I saw you tease about this on online.
Yes, I am taking a hypnosis course, which means I have a lot of study to do. And then I have a lot of free hypnosis that I'm going to need volunteers for free stuff. But I will be putting a hypnosis group up, and then I'm going to record the hypnosis library of mine and put them on that group.
Wow,
Yeah, so no, you could go in and do the stop smoking hypnosis 50 times a month if you wanted to.
I've never done hypnosis at all. I
Oh, well,
tried
I
once, but
will
it didn't
definitely
work.
do it when it comes time for me to practice. I will get a hold of you and I'll do a
Okay.
practice. Mhm.
Um, I'd be happy to do it right here on Psychic Tapestry as long as you don't turn me
Yes.
into a
We'll
chicken.
do a past life regression.
I have feelings about that, but okay, I trust you.
You had feelings about that?
Well,
I'm
I had
excited.
I had a lot of bad experiences when I was when things were opening up for me. So I don't know really what was real and what wasn't, but it was just I know everybody thinks that they were famous in a past life, and the truth is, it's more likely that you were a shepherd
A
on a mountain somewhere.
peasant.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were a farmer.
yeah,
It's very likely that you starved to death if you're a binge eater. Like there's
yeah.
a lot of reasons we do the things we do in this lifetime that are determined on, and we haven't had just one past life. We've had so many.
I am. I don't even. I was going to say I'm pretty sure I was, but I'm not sure. But the information that I got and the things that I heard and saw in meditation going through one of these things put me in Ford's Theater the night Lincoln was shot, or the afternoon, or
Ooh,
whenever that was, where I can still, if I close my eyes, I can still hear somebody screaming, "My God, they shot the president!" I, but I don't know who I was. I don't know. I don't. I'm pretty sure I didn't pull the trigger. I don't know who I was. I don't know why I was there, and because of the way this
we're
was
there to see the
handled,
show.
I'm sorry,
You were there to see the show.
possibly. But because of the way this was handled, I there's part of me that thinks that this might have been planted as kind of a joke. So I I don't know.
Interesting. Well, you
But
know,
I
I live in the land of Lincoln.
yeah. But I only say that because so many people think they were Cleopatra or that they were Lincoln or that they were Elvis or
Okay, I have a great story to tell you. Want to hear it?
sure.
So I, for a while, when I had my studio open, I was doing these past life Reiki sessions where I would turn on a past life recorded meditation or hypnosis. And then I would do Reiki while I had the person going under with the hypnosis. So it was kind of like we'd sit down and we'd decide that we were going to heal whatever needed to be healed. This girl was trying to get pregnant. So that was the goal. And I thought, let's heal. I bet you she died in childbirth or something, had too many kids in her past life. There's something to do with, something awful with children. And so I'm like, we're going to heal this. I'm going to do a Reiki session while she's going under. And I got her in this mode. She's like, you could tell she was going under. I'm doing the Reiki. And all of a sudden she has tears coming out of her eyes. And when we finished, it was a good 40-minute session. And when we finished, she says, I was murdered in the 1970s in California, in Los Angeles, by a serial killer. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
what? And she goes, yes. And she goes, he or he used like a chainsaw to take my body apart and used acid and this and that and the other thing. And she says he found me in a store parking lot. And she goes, I go to Los Angeles all the time. I know exactly where the store is.
Ooh,
And I'm like, first of all, how many people do you know who go to Los Angeles all the time?
right.
And so I said, well, I wonder who it is. And so we looked up serial killers in California and we're looking them up. And she goes, that's him, the freeway killer.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so then we looked up his victims. Now, she was blonde with a real thin face and kind of a crooked nose. And she thought she was a girl when she was murdered. But it was a boy with long blonde hair, a thin face, and a crooked nose.
Wow.
We found all his victims' photos. And it was in the 80s, not the 70s.
Wow.
Mhm. Isn't that crazy?
I had, I've never had strong feelings about a past life. I know some people do, and guides have told me that I didn't bring anything, any baggage, that I did whatever I needed to do. So there's no real connection, and that's fine. I'm not saying that because I'm so evolved and enlightened that it's just, I just don't seem to have anything. But we went to my son's a graduation from KU. It was my first trip ever to Kansas. I lived on both sides of the
Oh,
country,
that's a fun state.
but I'd never been there before. And the first night we were there, I had nightmares. I couldn't sleep. And it was strong enough that I decided I'm not going to sleep. And I stayed and played on my computer and everything until the sun came out. And I did, I, I suddenly just knew. I just knew after that that I had died in like a cave in or something where it was dark and it was, I guess, somewhere in that vicinity. And I must have been about that age. And that's when it clicked. I never had a feeling about it before, but suddenly it was there and very real. And I have had claustrophobia from that since that time. Never had that before in my life. But
Mm.
now, since then, now if I'm in the middle seat on a plane, actually any seat on a plane, after a little while, I start to sweat and get very anxious.
And you can't ground yourself on a plane.
Right. What I
So
what
it's
I did
very
was
frustrating.
I picked up their little magazine and I read it cover to cover, everything just to sort of occupy myself. And that took long enough that then we were descending and I had made it because you can't get up and walk around really. There's nowhere to
What
go.
part of Kansas were you in?
Whatever city KU is.
Mm,
University of Kansas. It's Lawrence, Kansas. It's
it is
on the
Lawrence.
Missouri side.
Hmm.
I think we flew into Kansas City in Missouri, actually. And, I had heard before about people who have never had a problem with heights or with different things. And then all of a sudden they get to a certain age when I guess was the age in a past life
That they
when
died
something
from.
happened.
Yes.
And suddenly these things kick in and never been claustrophobic in my life, but I am now. And
So that's crazy.
yeah,
Isn't that funny? I mean, I would journal that. I would write all that down. I went to Florida and I was doing readings at Flagler Beach. So I come over the highway. Now, I've always had dreams of driving on a bridge and it starts to go up. And
okay.
it was one of those suspension bridges, but you go over it and then you see the ocean and you take a left or a right and you're on the A1A. And so while we were there, we drove as far down the A1A as we could. I know it's a long trip to do the entire A1A, but I had feelings of being there before and driving that road. And it was so spiritual. And you and I have talked about this. And it was just such a weird thing that I knew what color that, because the beaches are all different colors. And you're driving down and one's pink and one's tan, and it's just the craziest thing. And I I told my son about it and he's like, I want to see it. So him and I go down there and he goes, I feel like I've been here before.
Hmm.
And I said, 100%. I absolutely feel like I drove this road so many times to and from work and to my home or whatever. It just felt like that. And he had that same feeling. So sometimes things are just too weird.
Yeah. And sometimes it just seems to take a while. You have to get to a certain place or you have to get to a certain age before you get those feelings because up until up until that trip to Kansas, I had never had any feelings or inklings about a past life. Nothing. I mean, I've always loved the ocean, but not because I remember being a sea captain or a fisherman or anything else. I just like and there are plenty of people who like the beach. So I don't think that has anything, but
Well, I think
there's never,
the beach is so healing. You have the
yeah.
magnesium from the salt, which most people are magnesium deficient in. You have the ground, which you're healing, you're grounding your energy. The water is cleansing, and then the waves are like meditative sounds. So literally, your body is like it like all your senses are engaged at the beach, and you're healing yourself with all of those things.
And I think the other thing, at least for me, is that I look out at the ocean and it's so big. And it just makes me feel small, but not in a bad way. But just like any of my problems are so tiny, and the ocean doesn't care because the ocean is going to still be here. And I did a thing, and it was very therapeutic for me, where I could sit and look at the ocean and imagine whatever it is that is bothering me and dump it into the ocean and it would vanish without a trace. And there's just something about sitting there and realizing that in the grand scheme of things,
We're this big.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, tiny, tiny,
Yeah.
tiny. And it's not, and again, and it's not in a self-deprecating or otherwise bad way. It's just that, you know, here's the ocean. Always been here, always will be. Long after me and my so-called problems have moved on.
Yes, yes. It really puts your ego in check for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's it. Everything about being next to the ocean is just so healing and so good for you. And that's why people crave it. Like literally you'll see memes on Facebook that says, I need beach therapy or this or that or the other thing. You know, the closest thing I have is Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
And when I lived in Wisconsin, I used to call it the Wisconsin Ocean. So because we like Door County. We like to go up into Door County, and Door County literally feels like it's like, you know, one of those little islands you go to when you live in New York, and the Hamptons or whatever. It feels very different than anything you see in Wisconsin. So it's kind of funny when you go there and, it's on the thumb of Wisconsin, so it's surrounded by water. And it that's a little enlightening too.
I lived in Cincinnati for a few years, and you're really landlocked, but there is the Ohio, the river, but not the same. When you can clearly see at the time, you could clearly see the Hooters on the other side, not really giving you that moment of zen with the baseball and football stadium on one side and the restaurants on the other.
Right.
It's not quite,
Right. No, not quite.
not quite, but
No.
that's
Um, and that Ohio River, I have looked at from an airplane. You can literally, it's so big, it's vast.
mhm.
And you can see that when you're up in the air and you look down on the ground. You see that Ohio River. That is crazy.
Yeah. And that's the mouth of the Mississippi. So we could drive a little bit into Kentucky and be at the Mississippi, which is, it's weird that it's so different than the Ohio when the Ohio sort of spills into it. But it is, but again, it's not the ocean.
No, the ocean has I mean, but there are people who surf on Lake Michigan.
Hmm.
I will tell you that. So that is a big surfer destination. Now that's ice cold, and I wouldn't even go into my knees. But there are people who surf it because it literally laps up like the ocean does. Like the waves are huge.
Yeah. I,
Hmm.
I can't I can't imagine. I've been to Chicago and gone out toward the lake, near the lake, seeing people that are going into the lake thinking, no, that water is probably close to warm 2 days a
It
year.
never warms up. It
Yeah.
never, ever, ever warms up. Yeah,
Yeah. I just, no,
super
no,
cold.
no,
Hmm.
thank you. But anyhow, I never had a feeling that deja vu that I've been there before, that I used to do this on or near the ocean or anything. It's always been just a happy place. But I never really, up until that time in Kansas, I never had a feeling ever that I had used to be this, used to do that, died a horrible death, died a wonderful death, whatever. Never had any of those kind of feelings. Now, when I had this experience in Kansas and was in some kind of, I don't know, collapsed mine or something underground, it's quite possible that I did starve to death. It's possible that I suffocated. I don't know. And I'm
Or
not excited
yeah.
about exploring that.
No, it's not exciting
No.
to explore that because sometimes you feel it all over again,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can observe without, I mean, in a lot of past life regressions, people just observe without emotion. So, yeah, you can, but very empathetic people will feel things again.
So is this sort of thing, to kind of bring it all back around? Is this sort of thing part of what you'll be doing with hypnosis?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can do with hypnosis. It's crazy. It's amazing. So I'm very excited to get this under my belt and get going with it.
I know there's a lot to it, and I almost hate to ask, but I'm kind of curious. Do you have a ballpark idea on when you might start
I'm
adding
hoping
this
by
to your website?
September.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just
Okay.
my summer project. And, it's a lot of hours and it's a lot of practice. And I want to be good at it. So, I don't want to be a hack. And, but I think if you've meditated your whole life, I mean, I've meditated for 40 years. So I feel like this is just so easy to walk into.
What made you decide to look into doing hypnosis?
I've always wanted to do it, always. And it's just something that I just always, how you just always know you're going to do something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on the other end of
Oh, many.
hypnosis?
I've been hypnotized so many times for so many things. Yes.
Okay.
I even did one the other night when I went to bed to help with acid reflux. They have, I mean, there's crazy hypnosis for health issues and things like that, but you literally can be hypnotized for acid reflux.
My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I've had no real experience with hypnosis, but my understanding is that it's kind of like meditation just dialed up a few notches.
100% with a suggestion usually. So hypnosis is different than meditation because in hypnosis there's a suggestion, a change behavior kind of thing.
I have seen or read that you can't hypnotize somebody to do something they would not do. Is that true?
I agree, unless they were drunk, but who would hypnotize somebody when they were drunk? But no, typically, I mean, first of all, I mean, it would be really irresponsible of any hypnotist to do anything like that,
Right.
and I really don't think you can, there's like the stage shows that do rapid hypnosis and rapid induction, and then people quack like a duck or, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, but honestly, and I actually have a course I downloaded for rapid induction. So that'll be after I do this one, um, which will be kind of fun, honestly. But no, I don't think you can do. I think your mind still belongs to you because when I've been under hypnosis, I have been under hypnosis, but still knowing where I was and what I've been, where what I'm sitting in and who I am. You're not like totally out of it.
So you see the movies where they hypnotize somebody to rob a bank or to kill the president or whatever, and I always see those and I think, no, I don't think you could really do that.
Mm-mm. I mean, I don't know. You probably could make a suggestion to somebody who's really vulnerable or mentally ill, maybe, but then maybe that's something they would do.
Something they would do, or something they believe they're actually protected from, and that this isn't real.
I don't
I
know.
don't
There's
know.
a lot to that.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm going to be responsible.
good.
Yes.
Before we wrap things up, we talked about a bunch of the events thing on your website, but you've got some other events for anybody who might be local. That you've got some stuff coming up. Mystic Mimosa in just over a
Yeah.
week.
Yep. Next weekend. That we're just starting that. So I've been doing readings at the Hope and Anchor in Loves Park, Illinois for 10 years. We do Mystic Wednesday once a month. And we just had my 10-year anniversary there. But now they're going to open on Sunday mornings and at 11. And so I'm going to go in and do mimosa and Bloody Mary readings. I mean, how fun.
And it's just a few days later that the weekly Mystic Wednesday is coming up.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
So all of this stuff is on Jonna's website. You can click the link down in the show notes or just go to Medium Jonna Kay, JonnaKay.com. Join the honeybees and for $5 get to do a whole bunch of cool stuff
Get
every
all
month.
of that honey. Get all that honey. There's
if
a
you
lot
have
of honey.
if you have questions about any of this stuff, actually, when you go to Jonna's website in the lower right, there's a little contact us bubble button thing, and you can click on that and ask away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. Jonna, thanks so much for talking about all this stuff today. I hope it didn't come across to anybody like it was a big sales pitch because this is a great deal for $5 for a group reading and a healing circle and a manifestation circle. It's,
If you're going through a spiritual awakening, this is where you want to be.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if any of this stuff, if it just sounds like something you might be interested in and you want to see what it's like, $5 is pretty cheap to have access to all of that. So,
100%. So
so
definitely get in there. And, I should have created a coupon code so they could get a free month next time.
okay.
Next time, I will create a coupon code so you can go in there and get your first month free.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay, so everybody listening should definitely do that. Or or just go right now and it's $5. Just
No. And sometimes we have all access groups where you just get to come in and pick my brain and ask me questions. And it's just like a all access group.
wow.
Hmm.
That is a deal. So go sign up, click the link down in the show notes and go do that. And in the meantime, Jonna, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. I'm always happy to join you. And we always
Likewise.
come up with more topics to talk about later.
Yes, we
So
do. Yes.
I know.
I'm looking forward to all of them. Thanks everybody for listening. We're really grateful. Connect with us at psychictapestry.com and mediumjonnakay.com. And until next time, take care of yourselves and remember to tell those close to you that you love them. And we will talk again soon.